Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Life with Alex. And as you can see today, I'm with three beautiful ladies. Like on my right is Jackie. Let me allow them to introduce themselves from the right.
Hi guys, I'm Jackie.
Hi, I'm Savi.
Hi, I'm Felicia.
So karibuni sana to my channel and thank you guys for making time to be here. And this is what I want to put out there. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly imagine you guys, you watch my videos, all of you. I know I'm so sure maybe hata nikiangalia mtu hapa is somebody who haven't even subscribed to my channel.
No.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
That's not me.
Uko sure umtaki niangalie? Sawa, uko sure?
All my 5 Gmail accounts.
Oh really? So in case you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly hit that subscribe button. Life with Alex. And do you even share my videos?
Of course.
Yeah, we do.
We do. What did I say on my third episode?
Wait.
Chill.
We did it together.
Really? Not really, but it's okay. So, and today we will be having an interesting topic about singlehood. I don't know how many of you here are single. I'll start by myself. I am Alex and I have been 3 years single, loving it, and it has been a perfect journey of being single and I love it. So,
I'm single as well. I've been single for 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Almost the same.
Yeah.
Mwenzangu.
So, how about you?
I am Savi. I am married. This is the This is the 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Jackie?
I'm single.
Just that. Single. For how long have you been single? For how long have you been single?
there? I've been single for so long.
For so long.
Yeah, for so
Are you sure?
long. Yeah.
So, and I will put this across. How has been singlehood been for you, or rather, what does it mean to you being single? You can start from my right.
For me, what being single means, first of all, I must mention, all my 20s, I was never single. I'm in my 30s now, so this is a bit. I'm feeling a bit refreshed. This is something I have never experienced, in my 20s. So it's new and funny enough, I'm liking it. I can't say I'm not liking it. Of course, there's times you get lonely and everything, but it's the first time I feel like I'm family single, and yeah, I can't complain. At least, yes, there are no sneaky links. But yeah, so have I answered your question?
Yes.
So for me, now mine is reversed. Having been single for such a long time in the 20s in uni, and now coming into a committed relationship, it's a whole transition. Because you see now it is having umetoka kujua what you like about yourself, and now it's embracing another person into your space and incorporating them into your life. It is a whole transition, honestly. And marriage works.
Hashtag marriage one.
Marriage works. But it is a lesson.
Actually, it's a journey.
Yeah.
So, Felicia.
For me, I can say I've been single for a long stretch of time before, so this is nothing new for me. I find that I'm okay with being single. I don't rush to look for anything. I don't rush to look for the next relationship to be in, and I find that that's helped me sort of become the person I am, because then I'm not pegging everything on being with someone. Yeah, so if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, well and good.
For me, singlehood, I have been single for 3 years, but I also feel like I have been single my whole life. In the sense that, I feel like I have been single in better part of my life kwa sababu I used to be in a long distance relationship. So, and the person never used to be here. So I feel like singlehood to me means I have been alone all my life. So, and it's like knowing who I am as a person, knowing like what I want, and becoming like that independent person. I can't really tell what it feels to have like a boyfriend. At you go for sleepovers to my boyfriends, sijui nini nini. I don't have like sort of a, you know, like I have never like been in a committed relationship whereby I'm saying, Ati, that's my boyfriend, sijui I go, we spend time together. I don't know about that. So that's why I feel like I have been single like all my life. Yeah, so something else I'm going to ask you guys is like, for example, like for you, Savai, how different is it from being single now to being married, and like now maybe like having a kid, having to just like accommodate someone, different personalities, different backgrounds. How is that?
It is very exposing. One thing is that marriage, when people say, oh, marriage ni marriage exposes you. Like unajua kumbe nakwanga mchoyo. You know, because now you're living with someone, you realize I think it's time to realize your weaknesses, as opposed to when you're single, unajijua tu from, oh, nilikuwa hivi na hivi. And then you get someone now you realize, sometimes I'm selfish, by the way, or sometimes I can be very self-centered, or sometimes I can be very inconsiderate. So you realize a lot more, and I've realized a lot more about myself.
Now that
And
in
then
marriage,
you get a child, and they trigger you. It's like it exposes now your traumas. You're like, kumbe, I've always had a fear maybe of being abandoned, or I've always had a fear of, basically, it exposes you, and you realize you got traumas.
So what comes in mind when you talk about that? It's a question like now for the three of us who are single. Have you gotten to a point whereby you feel like you know your weaknesses like as a person, and in the fact that maybe you haven't been in a relationship but you have sat down in your singlehood and thought about, you know what, oh, by the way, as she says, like maybe I am selfish, or maybe I'm like the way I am, I have like the way I am, maybe let's say like maybe I'm afraid of something. Have you like learned like what are I would say what are your weaknesses like in your singlehood? Have you discovered like what are your weaknesses like when you're single?
Definitely. I feel like, you know, it's obvious, you know. And ideally it should be standard that even when you're single or in a relationship, the things you need to learn and know about yourself. And like I said earlier, in my 20s I was never single. So this is something, you know, I just got into my 30s, and there's a lot of things I've known about myself. There's a lot of discovery I have, you know, discovered about myself. And one thing I am strongly learning is, you know, I've never been alone. Anything that does not serve me, or, you know, anything that does not make me happy is not worth, you know, all the struggle. And it's been a rock and roll, you know, for all the relationships that I've been in. And yeah, it should be serving me. But again, I've learned it's maybe because I was young. I've always thought that my happiness, you know, in life depended on my relationship with a particular person. And honestly, I feel like I never gave 100% to my other relationships as compared to my, you know, partner, you know, my romantic relationship. And so I'm learning to build my relationship with, you know, my family, my friends, even more. You know, I'm appreciating everyone and every relationship, and not just, you know, having the idea that my happiness is based on a romantic relationship. And it happens a lot too, you know, when you're a young person. So as you grow and as you become mature, there's a lot of things you discover about yourself, and, you know, the kind of you know, the idea behind how a relationship should be. You know, for me right now, I'd say in a relationship, I'm looking for a partner and a friend, you know. You know, the kind of idea that I have about a relationship right now is definitely different from, you know, what I've had or what I thought I should have in the past.
Okay. So mine, onto your point, mine has been totally now the opposite. I have been single, like I said, like better part of my life, and now having like a romantic relationship, it's so hard for me. Like, I don't think like for a very long time, it's something I'm working on, but for a very long time, I don't, even communication, you know, like I don't have to answer to anybody. I don't have to somebody to keep on telling me, you know what, like you're not doing this right and it's affecting me in one way or another. So I have realized that one has made me like comfortable in my singlehood, and I find it so hard for me to even like accommodate somebody, even the talking stage too, like Ilea, like at hey, how you doing? Sometimes like I don't understand why you're calling me like 3 missed calls. We are okay, as much as we are dating, I saw your 1 missed call, 2 missed calls, that's enough. Like I'll call you when I get the missed calls. So I'm coming to realize being single for a very long time has made me so comfortable, and has made like difficult for me to even let people, even friends sometimes, like to let people in the sense that I'm so confined to my space and who I am and what I want to achieve in terms of my career, in terms of who I am as a person. But as I grow older, I'm realizing like I won't be forever alone, like maybe in the future I need to have kids. I need to start letting people in so that I can make friendship. Then from friendship, maybe that's when you get to realize like, can I have like a romantic partner out of the friendship? So how about you, Felicia?
Question.
Yeah.
Just a question.
Yeah.
You've said you've become too comfortable being single.
Yes.
Is it too comfortable being single, or have you seen the shit, pardon my French, have you seen the shit that women who are in relationships and married have gone through that you build a wall?
Yeah, traumas.
Is it a trauma response, or is it comfortable being...
I think it's a trauma response.
Okay.
And not from like trauma response from a point of seeing so many of my friends like going through a lot, like all by themselves, maybe with kids and what they have that thing. I think because you're my friends, because I think you have seen it. Even sometimes, even the way I talk about it, I'm so passive. Like sometimes I'm so aggressive about how I express myself when it comes to guys. I'm so sure you've realized that. So it's something I'm trying to work on. It's something like, I'm taking a journey with somebody, somebody I'm talking to, like a therapist and all that, because I have realized it's your story, it's not my story. Like doesn't mean like because you had to go through that, I will go through that. Yes. So it has been like it has affected me like negatively. Yes, I would say. Felicia?
Well, for me, I would say in terms of finding out about a weakness, I find that being single has been sort of advantageous to me because especially in my 20s and up to now, because the periods that I have where I'm single, when they span a year or two, yes, it might feel like lost years in quotes, but I find that it gives me time to reflect on what happened. Like, I don't jump into the next thing so quickly that I didn't have time to understand. Was I at fault? Was this other person? Where did I go wrong? What should I have done? And I feel like that gives me ample time. By the time I'm getting into the next relationship, I'm ready.
You're ready.
I'm ready to be with this person. I'm ready for the uphill climb of learning what this person's favorite color is and which is a task, right? So that has been advantageous to me because through those years of being single, I can know, okay, I messed up because my weakness is this, and I know next I'm gonna look for someone who maybe complements my weakness, So that I take it positively my periods of single. So in that sense, I find my weakness being single because then I'm able to reflect.
Just something Felicia mentioned, how how she has breaks in between, once she's out of a relationship. I'd say that's a big mistake that I used to do. I used to come out of a relationship and hop into another one. It's not like I've been in a lot of relationships. Utaongea kwake. Tumeongea kwako. Tumeongea kwao. So of course that's something I'd say no one should do. I don't know, but personally, out of my own personal experience, I wouldn't recommend that. And with such situations, you end up bringing, of course, by the time you're leaving a relationship, it's because of something, maybe something happened,
yes.
you know, you weren't able to stand whatever, you know, issues you had in the past relationship, so you end up bringing your problems into the next relationship. And I'd say you're already coming in with your guard up too high, and in your head you think, you know, I'm good at, you know, judging character and all that, but no, you're bringing in all the traumas from the past relationship into the new relationship, and
you
chances,
risk it being
yeah,
also a
Of course, and then it will
because
be...
how sure are you it wasn't a rebound?
Yeah.
How sure are you were just not hurt? And this
Yeah.
person also, like, did you take advantage of me because I was hurt at the time, you know? So yeah, your point
could
is
have
very
been
good.
could have been like you said, you know,
Someone
it was a
took
rebound, you know.
Yeah.
So
And
I
also
wouldn't
take
recommend,
time
just
out.
sit it out, just you know, think through it and all that.
Yeah.
So.
And I also think, to add on to that, now on my side, having been in one or two, I don't call them relationships, one or two entanglements where you and then now being
Go
in
savvy.
this relationship, in this long-term relationship and commitment, I have learned, because now my partner, as now, he is very liberal. So I was so used to seeing relationships like, kushinda mmepigiana, which is not a bad thing, or kushinda umepigiana, ama kushinda hivi, and then being with someone who is very liberal, unamwambia, oh, nataka kwenda sleepover, nini, oh, sawa, like, kwani ukatai? So, and then having to learn that, you don't possess people, you experience them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
True.
having learned that si wako tufai kumweka hapa, you let that person be free, because when I'm free and liberal, now I've taken a break, I'll come back and give you 100%.
Oh yeah.
Because ukishinda ukinishika hivi,
Time to refresh.
yes, you have time, exactly. Sisi tunaitanga ka break, like, hey, wacha niende nipate ka
Break
break.
kidogo.
Yeah, and so a lot of people maybe won't understand that, but it is, for me, I find it very necessary.
And I feel like it's a good point, because when you come into a relationship with preconceived notions of what
A relationship should be.
It's good to get nicely shocked.
Yes,
Oh my God,
I was nicely
I got
shocked.
someone who allows me to go for sleepover.
You know.
But those preconceived notions can ruin your next relationship. So as you said, it's good to be single, take your time and find out what you feel like a relationship should be. But
According
also
to
don't
you.
enter with your preconceived notions.
Yes.
You will enter and them, they also have theirs.
There's another thing,
Then you
pia
clash.
Yeah. How's the singlehood now and when you're in your 20s?
That's a good question for me. I've had long stretches of being single. For me, earlier, when the last time I was single for 4 years. So when I was younger, it used to disturb me. It was like, wow,
God,
even one person. Like, God, like I'm in my 20s. Like, yo, I should be doing this thing. But now it feels like, I feel like I'm more present with it now. Like, I'm more grounded. It doesn't, yes, as you said earlier, I get the loneliness, I get the everything.
I think everybody, if you're single, if
It
you go through that
happens.
phase,
Yeah,
you go
that's
through
what
that
I
phase,
was
it happens.
loneliness.
But now,
Yeah.
like when you're in your 30s, it's kind of like, oh, okay. Anyway, it's okay because
You don't sit in it for too long.
You don't sit in
Yeah,
it for
it's
too long.
like,
And now you're even dealing with, maybe you want to further your career, or you want to be better with your friends and your family. So like that becomes another book in the shelf and not the only book that is on the shelf. You know, So that is how it is different. I no longer identify as, you know, I'm just single Felicia. You know, now I am way more than that. So that's how I deal with it.
It shouldn't stop you from living your everyday life.
Yeah.
Actually,
Actually,
things that are happening.
Yeah, and actually, like you being single, like in your 30s, I would say, you know what you want, you know who you are, you know what like you want in a person, and I'm so sure you wouldn't take less than what you feel you need, you think you deserve. So another thing that has come into my mind is me being single for a very long time. I don't think I have been in a situation whereby my previous relationship have allowed me like to, you know, all my exes, better part of most of my exes, I'm the one who left. So, and we've never gotten like a sit down and for like have a conversation with them. What were my faults? Maybe I was projecting something that was not even there. So, and it makes me think, simply because I have been single all that while, I don't know, like, I haven't, like, sat down with any of my exes. They told me, you know what, this is how you used to be. And I think it's time I sort of, like, look for one of them and maybe ask them what were, like, my faults in the relationship. Probably it was all about me seeing you, like, as the monster in the relationship. What did I do wrong? Because mostly where I come from, like, from my past relationship, I have had people take advantage of maybe who I am, but I've never had a guy, like, maybe have a problem with me in the sense that, you know what, like, maybe you're cheating, maybe you're not submissive, maybe I haven't had, like, any of my exes tell me what were my faults in that relationship. So, and I'm at a point whereby I'm very cautious, and I really want to know, like, in my previous relationship, what went wrong. Like, because, like, for the next one, I don't want to make the same mistakes, and I don't want to be in a place like where I was, like, maybe in my last relationship. I want to grow through it, know what were my faults in that relationship, then I can get to grow like out of them.
To add to that, and to out of my own personal experience, I'd say I've been in both situations where I'm the one who left, and where in another one where the guy left. And I'd say normally when someone leaves you, that's when you always feel the need to seek for closure. You never try to seek for closure in a relationship you left, because everything is clear. I know I no longer want this relationship. You no longer serve me as a person. I'm not getting whatever it is that I want out of this relationship, so you left. At least you have clarity. But when someone else leaves you, and you don't know what you did, you don't know what happened, of course maybe you'd have seen that you're struggling in the relationship, so when this person leaves with no answer, that's when you want to. And I was listening to a YouTube channel the other day, and half of the time when men leave, it's because of another woman. So, and men, how will a man come, and tell you, I found someone else, so half of the time they'll just leave. But you're struggling.
They ghost you.
Yes. Yeah. So you really want answers. Was the time, good for you? What did I do? And this person just wants to up and leave. So half of the time to answer that and to share my thought on that is when you've been left, that's when you want closure. But when you're the one who leaves, why would I seek closure? I already know myself.
I think my thoughts on that, I agree with you. Yeah. But I think also, I understand your point, Stella, because a lot of times relationships end and you don't know why it ended. Not necessarily because you're seeking closure. I don't know if it's a women thing. I feel like women know how to play victim so much.
Always. It's always the guy.
Yeah, it was the guy's fault. It was the guy's fault. Even when it's not a case of cheating.
True.
It's always the other person is wrong, right? And I feel like because of maybe societal norms and stuff like that, men don't usually feel comfortable telling you where your fault is. Because wanawake ukiambiwa umekosea, there's no apology, there's no sorry, So you end up leaving the relationship, and I've had that, right? Where it's like, but you never told me where I went wrong. You never told me I wanted you to do this and you didn't.
Don't you
like
think
it was always only me saying you're not doing this, but the men are not being vocal. And it's not to blame them or anything, but I feel like we haven't given them that room. So you end up leaving the relationship not knowing, I know I have my weakness, but where did I kosea you?
Where did I go wrong?
Where did I go wrong with you, So that someone tell hey, me, I need to stop this habit of this and this. You can have weaknesses, but now kuna kitu ulifanya that made this thing go wrong, So I think we need to make it a comfortable environment for someone to tell you
when you do this, I don't like it.
When you do this, it's wrong. For
and
me,
at what point do somebody like tells you?
You know how when you're arguing with your guy and you're like, no, but you're like this, you did this, and then him when he tells you, babe, you're just like, even you're attacking me. How can you settle that? Tell me that.
No, when you cry
Me?
like now, sasa.
So I'm always told crying is the last defense.
Yes.
So and I
Yun
win,
ni
and
pitch
I win.
party.
Watch
No,
and
like,
No, but we do that as women. Like
Yeah.
when the arrow points back at you, it's now
It's
like
hurting.
how can you
Now
dare
you're
tell me
attacking
that?
me,
You know,
yeah.
like instead of sitting down and realizing,
I don't
oh,
feel like
this
I've
thing
been.
I'm being
I don't feel like
protected.
I've played.
Yeah.
I totally can't relate.
You
Me,
can't.
I
You
know, I have
probably
men
no,
who
you,
do that
you
card.
probably can't relate
I
because
know
maybe
that
it's not your
card.
personality.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact women.
Oh
do
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't relate. I
Yeah,
don't think I've
women
played
do
victim.
that.
I don't, okay,
Let
I
me tell you
can't.
something.
play it
You
in my
will
mind.
not know that you're playing victim
Yeah.
because it's you.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe how you how maybe how
Unless
you're
you're
saying, how you're
self-conscious,
communicating, how you're being aggressive.
Yes, how you're being
I
aggressive,
never
or
get
how
to
you
be
take
aggressive.
back the feedback. You don't realize you're being victim. Only when you sit back is when you can.
You're
you
like,
know,
yeah,
reflect, is when you're like,
yeah,
"Enewe, like I
clearly.
venye nilijibu mtu,
Yes.
it wasn't fair. He was just trying to tell me what
like
was wrong.
like I think I've shared with you guys personally how in to tie that home, that thing of you realize that sometimes I can be self-centered. It's something that I'm not because I'm always like he's doing this, and then I sit back and I'm like
What am
even
I
me
doing?
sometimes I provoke. You know, even me sometimes I am like you should do this, you should do right by me. But am I doing right by you?
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
I get
so
it.
that's how I mean by playing victim. You know, it might not be loud and shouting.
Yes.
But it might be
So you
in
do
the
those
way
silent
you're responding,
treatment, passive
responding
aggressive.
to the feedback.
You know, like I was telling you guys, was it yesterday or whatever? Like how I never ever think I'd ever go out of character. You know, for someone,
For any situation.
whether you have done something, whether I have done something, I don't think. I don't know. You know, I don't know what the future holds. But in the past, I've not gone out of character, and from where I'm seated, I don't see how I can go out of character. You know, when someone does whatever they do. So, yeah.
Because also when you're going into a relationship, it's about your mindset also, you know. Don't go there, like do the self-work on your end. Don't go there having too much expectations, you know. Like you are totally two different people, you know.
Yeah.
Don't go into a relationship or rather to a marriage thinking that, you know what, now I'm married, he's going to take care of me, he's going to do everything, you know. If you can't even do that for yourself, don't expect somebody else to do that for you. So it's a whole sort of a mindset thing, you know. Like if you need to do something, don't expect it to come from the other person, you know. Like for example, if I'm meant to, like for example, you want like to go out and date. You can't even take yourself out on a date. Why do you expect somebody else to come and take you? Exactly, to
Don't you
come and
think
take you
that's such
out.
a problem right now? The breed of women that we have.
Yes, it is.
You're telling a
Don't-
guy,
I-
come with a car, come with Nini, yourself.
Like,
Are
if
you
you
want
want
him
to
to
have,
have?
yeah. What do you
want him to
have?
that.
Because I think there was a book I was reading. It's a whole sort of a mindset thing, and that's why in our generation, like we don't have like relationships that are working, marriages that are working. Because sometimes women, when you, for example, like as a woman, when you have all that, now your standards are where, you know, like you can't even take just somebody who has who is below you. And you'll hear women say like, if a guy is earning way lesser than me, I can't take him.
But when you're earning less,
But
you want a guy who
when,
wants
but you're,
more.
yeah, exactly. When you're earning less, you want a guy who
wants
but
more.
you haven't like put in the work on yourself. I think people should, okay, or rather before like you enter into a relationship, make sure like you're wholesome in the sense that you are an independent person. Your finances, your social life, you know, everything around you is going on well before you subject it to somebody else. Yeah.
You know, I don't know. When you were saying, you know, when you were just, you know, going on and on about that, in my head I'm thinking, there's no relationship that is permanent. I know I will be attacked for saying that, but one thing I've realized is the minute, maybe it's not it's, to some people it's not a good thing, to some it's not a bad thing, but just going with the realization that you are a person of you, or like, you know, you are you, before being someone else's mom, before being someone else's wife, before being someone else's girlfriend or friend. It's also important to realize that I really hope that, you know, you can get, with the same mindset, you can get a partner who has the same thoughts. And that way, you know, you will be you, I will be me. You know, I have my own independent life, you have your own independent life. So we're not coming here, you know, for one person to be tied down by the other person. And like I usually like to say, you know, in defense of my statement of, you know, no relationship is permanent. You know, someone might die tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, the relationship might end tomorrow. You know, and it shouldn't be the end of your life because, you know, a relationship has come to an end, you know, through whichever way. So it's important to realize that, you know, be independent, be a person of your own.
Is that the same as saying, do not tie a relationship to identity?
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly.
We had remember we had that conversation with a pal of ours. I was saying he never likes being called he's a dad, but he's not being called Baba Dani.
He prefers
You know,
his name.
there's first me as me. There's me as Jackie, and now there's me as Mama Taji. You know, so don't just always peg yourself to the fact that you're a wife, you're a mother. And you know,
can happen.
there's also you.
Yes.
And you know, you can only give your best if there's first you. You know, appreciate you first, deal with you first. Then now you can give mom vibes, you can give wife vibes. You know, friend vibes.
Very true. Very.
Because now if you don't, you will find that you're bleeding.
Yeah.
You're most probably bleeding on people who never even did anything to you. Like now you're bleeding on your husband, on your kids, on your kids, especially kids. They take so much in, and so yeah. I mean, you're quite.
So anything else we've left out?
I'm trying to remember. There's a statement I saw somewhere in the course of this week that said, you see, like how unloved kids or kids who've been through such hard times, I'll peg it from home. You know, these kids cry for love in a very different way. You know, it's the same thing even for people who are single going into relationships, and it's things people might not understand. You know, people cry out for love in a different way, in a very, I don't want to use toxic, that's a bit harsh, but you know, in weird ways. You know, from where you've come from. So these are things you need to identify. It's not even love you're seeking. You know, you're trying to communicate. You know, you're being pushed by, you know, vibes from the past, forces from the past, traumas from the past. So a reflection of yourself, understand yourself, and maybe that way you can understand what it is you want in a person.
Yeah, and to add on that, as you said, from where you come from, do you know it could affect you both ways? Both ways in the sense that maybe you come from a background whereby, you seek, maybe you had traumas, nini, and now you're trying to seek love in a very different way. It's also, I would say, like on my case, where I come from, knowing like maybe you come from somewhere where there's love, there's nini, so you try going like with a mentality of like, you know, love is this beautiful thing, because that is what I have seen growing up. So, and you come out here and you're surprised, like, what? So like, how I don't understand, you know, like I don't identify myself like from a perspective of like at being like a single mom of everything, you know, like maybe not a mama, my dad not being present. So when I come to the world, mimi napatwa na ile shock ya you know, what if I am like left alone? How will I deal? How will my family even take this? You know, so it goes both ways. Doesn't mean because you didn't grow like maybe having all that, the sort of a family setup, like a whole family setup. It also affects like both ways. Either you came from like a family where there is wholesomeness, or a family that is like it's broken. It affects you both ways.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah, because me, I have been a victim of, you know, I come from like a very whole family, but now when I go to the world, it's so cruel. Mpaka unashanga, okay, I didn't expect this. Like this come as a shock to me. Yeah,
Because me, I grew up without having a father figure, and then now you're married, and you're like, wait, Sasa, how do these men? How do you do things? And it's a learning, and that's why me personally I say nothing is cast on stone. And then even with the person you are, I might wake up today and change maybe something nilikuwa napenda jana,
you don't like it today.
I don't like it anymore.
True.
And what I like, my partner says, he says, what will change every day, and you're allowed. So someone, when we met, we had our own views. Right now, they may change. in 5 years time they might be totally different. Yeah, so nothing is cast on stone. Usiende ukijua ni hivi, my way or the highway.
The highway.
Unakuanga na vichochoro mnaweza pia pitia na mfike.